Hello, and welcome to part 3 of our playthrough of Songs of Syx in the great city of Foremenlore. We've actually managed to expand quite a little bit since the last bit, so definitely not a city. Still probably just a little bit of a hamlet, maybe a village. You know, we've got 45 people in, we're doing pretty well. Last episode we managed to get our trade goods access to our neighbouring city of Kennis. The people there seem to like us a little bit now, they're going to actually trade with us, which is great. Because we don't really have any other trade partners. Universum is having to go through Kennis. Ridge is a free land, so we can't really trade with them, but that's going to be an interesting place that we could potentially take once we get an army, but that's going to be quite a bit in the future. Let's continue with what we're doing. We're just building up some houses. We want to build up our infrastructure around here so we can get our farms ready for next year. Our food stockpiles are doing pretty well. We have a lot of bread thanks to the grain that we've managed to collect, so that's very, very nice. We'll also make sure as well that we build up our grain farm when we get a second, and that'll help us quite a lot. So yeah, let's just keep going. Things are going pretty well. Somebody is starving apparently, but they should be able to sort that out fairly shortly. As well, let's make sure that we're building up a food stall for these guys here, because they're going to need something to eat as well. So we'll just build like a nice little food stall here, and that should be fine. There we go. Perfect. Perfectly sized, perfectly everything. We'll get that down. That should make sure that they have food here, they've got a well, they've got a hearth, they've got a little shrine to Krator here as well. And we've almost finished up our pasture too, so we're just needing to work a little bit more. We've only got a couple of day labourers, only 11 left. 3 homeless people, but those houses should sort that out as well. And then we've also got our laboratory here. You can see here that our science is starting to go up pretty nicely, that's great. We might have a little look at our science and think about... potentially I want to try and get like maybe a hunter or something like that. We could get a husbandry seeing as we're about to start our pasture. Choices, choices, choices. Entertainment, a stage. Stage is quite expensive. I think that's a little bit beyond us at the moment. We've really just got to decide what we want to do. We've already got our lavatories up, so we don't really have to worry about that. We could have a little bit better refining. Maybe just unlocking weavers would be good, because we do have a bit of cloth and cotton coming in. So yeah, we'll unlock that. That should be pretty good. And then what else could we get on top of that? So here we've got work safety, that's great. We can't really use that yet. People aren't really dying, we've been quite fortunate yet. I think we've only had 1 death so far. So, you know, you can't really complain about that. Yeah, so let's just get a bit of hunting. It only costs 50. We get 2 levels of knowledge in that. This is going to require us to keep a little bit of knowledge upkeep. We can see here that we've allocated 345 of our knowledge, and this is what we have available. So we need to make sure that we still have people working inside our laboratories, just to make sure that we're keeping that knowledge incoming. Other than that, everything seems to be going pretty well. Yeah, see, look, we've got one guy in the mass grave. What a shame. I'm sure he died doing what he loved. We're importing some vegetables. Yep, we can see we've got some vegetables imported now. We're exporting all of our surplus furniture that we're creating. And fingers crossed somebody will start clearing out this vegetable farm sooner rather than later. I might actually try and speed that up slightly. Just by building some workstations over here, just to sort of say, hey guys, this is what I want you to work on. And we'll maybe add in 3-4 workers, yeah. Just so we can ensure that we're going to get everything here built up. And we'll probably actually think about building another warehouse as well, potentially along here. Although we do kind of want this place for the ore. So maybe we'll just build a warehouse kind of up here next to this food stall. It's a bit close to the other warehouse, admittedly. Or we could kind of position it over here so it's a little bit further away. That might be a better way of doing it. Yes. I'm just going to remember exactly where they put the warehouse. I'm not sure I quite enjoy the fact they've moved everything about. I've kind of lost my previous knowledge of where everything is. So that is a little bit annoying, but that's fine. We'll build up some crates here. Yeah, build up a nice... Right click, the bane of my life, honestly. There we go. Okay, so yeah, we'll build up some crates here. So we'll build one there, and there. And we'll build a smaller one here, just kind of sit by this wall. Fantastic. Glorious Bob, it's been too long. You will give us... So I have to give them all of that? No, I will not accept that offer, thank you very much. We are not here to be extorted. Thank you. So yeah, we'll build up a little warehouse here, and that should hopefully mean that we can control our sources of vegetables, our grains and that. And our fish, once we get that done. We just need people to continue building up. We've got a lot of spare housing, which is great for people to live in. And we've got our food vendor here. Yes, they're already starting to divvy out stuff as well. We might actually get, seeing as we have 13 people, we might actually just say, hey, I want as many workers here as possible. This is where we need to work. So start, you know, cutting down the trees, start delivering the goods that we need so that we can continue to expand. Ah, perfect. There they go. So they're building up that fishery. That'll be great. That gives us another source of food as well. And we can build up our vegetable farm plots. We still have enough vegetables in stock and we're importing some. We have 2,000 gold, so that's not bad. We might actually even expand our import so we can get some fruit as well. And that should be good too. Other than that, we probably want to think about setting up some kind of woodcutter in an area around here. Probably like over here, a little bit further away from the river itself. Just so we can start having renewable wood to use. But we're not really needing to do that just now. The good thing about kind of clear cutting down these trees with your normal dudes is that you get a lot of wood very fast, but it's obviously not sustainable over a long period of time because you do chop down the trees take a little bit of time to come back. But you do get a lot of like instant wood that you can use. So if you're ever really struggling for wood, use the fell tree, use a clear rock. Really, really good for you to use. Other than that, we've got our little bits of our forages over here. And we don't have anybody on this workstation, so we'll activate that again once we get into... Oh, well, we're nearly in late summer just now, just so we can make sure that we get that. Ah, perfect. There we go. Our vegetable farm is completing. Fantastic. We'll probably get some kind of irrigation system here as well, just to make sure that we've got plenty of water going around. And we seem to be out of grain, which is a little bit of a shame. But we get some fruit there. Where was it we were getting our grain from? Down here. So this is where our big expanse of grain is going to be. So yeah, we'll tell these guys to forage this as well. And what we're looking like in terms of time is day 2 of summer. We'll probably build another one of our workstations down here just to tell people, hey, you want to work down here. And we'll activate it just now so that as soon as it gets to late summer, they're just going to start doing it. And instantly, woo, look at that population boom. 56 people. They're really starting to move into these houses, which is fantastic. It's exactly what we want. We've got our vegetables starting to be planted and harvested, as well as a bunch of stone and wood. And we'll have our auroch pasture up soon as well, so that will give us access to leather that we don't have to hunt for, as well as some meat. But we're not really doing that well on meat. We're mostly just relying on this bread that we have just now, which we got from the gift from our neighbor. So maybe we should have actually given them something just to say thank you for that. But that was a lot of stuff they were asking for, so how about no? How about we thank you for your gift, but jog on? I think that's a reasonable thing to say. Other than that, we need to have a little look at our research. Yeah, we're doing still fine. We got 600 there, so we need to have a little think about what we could do. We could start harvesting some ore for selling. That's not a bad shout, to be quite honest. We could also unlock a smithy, so we can start to use coal to redo it, although we'll have to have a little think about how we're going to get the coal. The coal, as it stands, is quite far away at the moment. So we could get a charcoaler. It's quite cheap. Yeah, we could get a charcoaler and probably just a metal smelter so we can start to make our own iron. Because even though it says we only have 3 day laborers, we've got to remember we've got like, what, 14 of them here just working on this workstation. We'll get this done before too long. We could start setting this up as an ore mining area. Start extracting the ore and just use it to sell. I don't think that's a bad idea. It will take quite a lot of workers is the only thing. We'll maybe just dump these guys down just a tad. And we'll have a little look. We're in summer. That's fine. We just want to make sure that we can activate our workstations. Yeah, we'll turn that on. And then we'll probably turn on this one over here as well. We'll give you a worker. So we're missing 2 workers, but that's just because we've got too many on this workstation here. Yeah, so we'll take off 3 of them. They've nearly completed all the buildings over here, so that's great. Probably build a lavatory over here as well, a toilet. Just for these people down here, just so they don't have to come up here and use the same one as the others. Yeah, kind of like in this corner here would probably be a good idea. Yep, so we'll build just a nice little lavatory here, just a nice small one. You don't need to build too big when you're starting out. That's a trap that sometimes people get into where they're like, oh, I'll build like this nice big house. You don't need to do that. At least when you're starting out, like, you can just start with little small things and then expand from there. We're not expecting this to be a massively populated area. We'll probably build another one as well. Once we kind of move around our aurochs, once we move around our farms, although we'll probably keep our farms kind of on the edge of the river here, but this is going to be our main smelting area. How are we doing for collecting things? We've got a little bit of grain. Fantastic. We still haven't cleared out this completely. We're using the fruit that we're collecting in order to build the fruit farm. And we have our fishery done as well. Fantastic, fantastic. Oh, the lightning strikes. Always good. And we're currently in autumn. Very, very good. So, yep, that's dormant. So we can say, hey, don't work over here anymore. Hey, don't work over here. And then for this workstation down here, we can say that as well. So you can actually see, like, on the left-hand side here, like, you've got a selection of different things you can kind of move into. We'll maybe expand out the radius here just so people here actually are working on things. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, so you can see that when you click on things, you can see similar buildings of the same type on the left-hand side here. You can use that to rapidly get to and from them, which is always good. Let's have a little look at our auroch pasture. So we currently only have 4 animals in here. It's a very small pasture. That's okay. It's a little bit worker inefficient in terms that we need 3 workers for about 8 animals, but that should be absolutely fine. Give us a little bit of meat, give us a little bit of leather, both of which we can use for our citizens. Other than that, things are going pretty well. We should maybe actually think now that we have this weaver, we could potentially build up tailor. Probably build the tailor up. Will you put it next to this lavatory for now? And we're probably going to build it out here with the expectation that we're then going to start coming down here like so. I think that'll go pretty well. Let's build up the storage. We'll get a couple of workbenches like that, and then we'll get some auxiliary stations too, making sure that they're not going to be obstructing the actual workbenches themselves, and then we'll build a nice little door here. So the advantage that, I mean, we haven't really shown it off yet, but the advantage that I find that if you kind of build these sort of like large, almost like square buildings with an entrance and a courtyard in sort of the center, is that you don't run into like the problems that you have when you have a big room where they need to have walls to shore them up, otherwise you'll have to pay additional maintenance. And you also have the spare space inside if you wanted to build up haulers, or if you want to build up any kind of like logistics help there, if you needed like more stuff than what you can get in your warehouse. And that's a really good way of doing it. Alright, let's make sure as well that we've got these guys here. We'll let the AI adjust. We'll make sure that we're storing up our fish. And we'll make sure we're storing up our vegetables, our fruit. Probably our meat as well. And maybe just some bread too, seeing as we have quite a lot of stuff there. And we'll make sure as well that we're helping with our ore and our wood. And just a little bit of stone and some animals. And probably also keep our leather and our grain here as well, because we're going to get leather and grain from this auroch pasture. And there you go. The workers should be working away now. Fantastic. Our food stocks have taken a little bit of a hit, but we have a whole 60 people here now. Fantastic. We are expanding. We're probably definitely into the sort of size of a small village at this point, which is great. That's exactly what we want. We've got our tailor done. We're producing enough of our furniture that things are going pretty well there. Speaking of tailors, we then probably also want to think about building up our weaver, because we don't have the most hides available, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll probably expand out that warehouse a little bit to the right. So we'll start building our weaver here, like so, and then we'll kind of expand it up like so. Great. And then we can build our little storage here. We can probably actually expand it a little bit more here. I don't think we'll use all of that for the warehouse. We just want to make sure there's a little gap for people to get through. Yeah, and then I think we'll build up our loom like so. We'll make sure we've got our storage as well. Not too important just now because we're not going to be producing that much. We'll give up our auxiliary loom there. Fantastic. Yeah, that should be enough for a couple of workers. And speaking of workers, we're actually -9 now. That's because of our workstation, which is done now, so we can just get rid of that. But we're still missing 2 people, so we need to try and attract some more of our residents if we can. Overall, things are going pretty well, I think. How is our market distribution going? Yep, fine. It's not that loaded up in terms of the load, so there's not too many people around here. Food stall still working fine. Lavatory's doing all right. Got a pretty high load, but now that we've got this other lavatory down here as well, people should start to use that a little bit more too. And yeah, I think everything's going quite well. We've got 46 humans, we've got 8 Kryptonians, and we've got 7 Dondorians. The Dondorians won't like the mining, but they will be very, very good at it, so we'll need to keep that in mind. We've still got a bunch of bread, we're eating up our fish, and we've got some vegetables. Great stuff, guys. We're doing alright. We could start up a human nursery. The only thing is it does require fruit, and we're running out of fruit. Just a tad, so we could start importing that instead. And a slaver has arrived. We've got 6,000. We could start purchasing some slaves. Not really sure if that's the best thing to do. They're quite expensive per. I think we're just more likely going to try and rely on immigration if we can. I think that's a better idea. I quite like having humans, Kryptonians and Dondorians together because they don't really hate each other at all. If we started to add in some Talapi, or especially some Garthemi, then the Dondorians and them will start to fight, and we don't really have things segregated enough that we could do that safely. So I think we'll just keep as we are just now. We should have a good amount of people coming in fairly shortly, and that's another winter done. Fantastic, so we can get back to farming. 3 farmers a pop, probably a little bit too much for these farms, but I like having the additional people around because they can just kind of work as odd jobbers when they're not on the fields. That's fine. We should potentially think about as well a cotton farm. Just with this fantastic fertility we have here, if we get a cotton farm, like probably, yeah, like so. Nice big cotton farm that'll produce quite a bit of cotton for us. It's got good fertility. And at least for now, that should be good. We'll make sure as well that we're thinking about roading up our system here. Build a road there. Road up here around the back of the houses. Road up around the front. People should be a bit happier because that means that we're then roading up everything. And we have our weaver done. So that's good. So he's made a little bit of cotton, which I don't know we are storing. Yep, that's fine. And we're using up a little bit of leather. We can change the recipe so that we're using fabric, but we'll need to get the research for that, so we'll just keep that as now. We want to try and, if we can, probably hold up this weaved good, which we're not currently doing inside our warehouses, so we'll make sure that we're holding up some fabric. And in the same token over here, we'll want to make some space for some coal and some iron when we get a second. We'll also upgrade this just so we have extra capacity inside this warehouse. And that should be everything going pretty well, actually. Yep, this tailor's doing alright. It doesn't have any leather, but our hunter should bring that in. We should have a little bit from our pastures. We might build up some more additional pastures over here as well. It's just we're kind of a little bit limited on the workforce as it stands. But yeah, no, I think overall things are going pretty great. As long as our neighbours aren't too unhappy with us, with the fact that we didn't, you know, want to give them stuff, I think we should be quite alright. We have a lot of wood in storage that we're currently storing from all the trees that we chopped down. Some of those trees are starting to grow back. We're not really using much wood. We're using some for our bakery, of course. But we're not really producing that much grain either. In that token, we might want to expand out our farms a little bit, but we do need those additional people to come in sooner rather than later. Let's get another couple of houses over here. Like so. And we'll probably build some more houses along here as well. Yeah, we'll expand that out. Make sure as well, wooden building. Yep, we want to use wood. We'll probably transition into stone later on, but we'll not do that just now. We'll build these buildings here. And we may decide to just make some decorations here. We might make like a nice little bench system over here, just so that people are a little bit happier. We don't have anything for torches. We could build just like a nice little garden behind here. People will like that. And, you know, we might as well use up some of our guys who are doing... Well, I say they're doing nothing. We're still running low on workers, but it should be fine. We'll road up here as well. And we'll probably actually get this just to kind of come down as sort of like an alley axis over here. Yep, people can get to work. Fantastic. Just working away. We're doing alright. Our food stocks are dwindling slightly, but I'm hoping that when our harvest comes around, then we'll have a bunch of extra food there. Yeah, we can see we're going to get 83 grain, we're going to get 65 fruit, we're going to get probably 83 vegetables as well. Overall, very, very good. The fertility over here on this grain leaves a little bit to be desired, and that's just because we're kind of coming a little bit further away from the river. You can see this fertility here is 33. It's not as good. So we're kind of wanting to hug next to the river as much as we can just now. How are we doing with our fishery? We're doing alright. We could upgrade it. We do need some cloth, which we have now, and some furniture. So yeah, let's just upgrade that. That'll massively increase our fish production and give us another food stock as well. The nice thing about fisheries is they continue to work. We're not going to make very much from it, unfortunately. But it's still nothing to be sniffed at. It's just a small little fishery for just now. We'll probably move it somewhere else when we get a second. How's our warehouse doing? It's mostly just full of wood, which is fine. And we're still waiting for some more people to come in. People aren't particularly happy. Let's have a little look and see what their issue is. It's because of clothing, which is to be expected. Speaking of clothing, can we think about our clothes? And whereabout is clothing again now? It should be under industry. We've got the refining here, infrastructure, military, agriculture, health, architecture. I'm being dumb, I can tell, I'm just not seeing it. Ah, here we go, crafting. So we could take this. This is going to cost us a grand total of 300, which we do have for tailoring basics. This means that we can unlock fine clothing. Yeah, so that might be a good idea. We do have 20 in storage. If we change the recipe here just so they're actually working, we can use this to make some clothes, make people a little bit happier. And it means that when we're using up our cotton, that doesn't matter quite as much. Speaking of cotton, there's cotton down here, but that's quite a trek away over our little land bridge that we've made here. We just need this cotton to be finished here, which is the problem because we just don't have a workforce available. We could take a few off research, but we're quite heavily invested in research just now. So instead, maybe what we do is we just copy up our import depot. We build another import depot here. We start importing some cotton. That means we'll be able to build our cotton farm. That means we can then feed our weaver and our tailor, and then if we get enough clothes, we can then export it. Because as we know, exporting raw goods and importing fine goods is a great way to go bankrupt. So I wouldn't recommend it. If you have the option, of course. Yeah, let's import some cotton here. So we're wanna maybe probably keep it at like 75. Yeah, that sounds good. We've got our trade here. Our one trading partner of Kennis. They will hopefully keep us afloat for the foreseeable future. But we will have to see. Other than that, we've got our houses continuing to be built. Fantastic. And hopefully we'll get some cotton in very shortly. Very much so we should expand this road out, just so people aren't going to be complaining about the fact that they're walking around on dirt too much. How are we doing over here, guys? Yep, fantastic. People are actually coming up to forage this. Great. And let's have a little look at our humans. How are they doing for services? What are they wanting? So they're absolutely fine for speakers. They're okay for hearths. Their food stalls going up. They're alright for wells. Don't have that much market access, so maybe we want to build a market over here somewhere. Probably, yeah, just next to this food stall is probably the best idea. So let's distribute with a market. We've got the furniture for it. We'll build up a nice little stall people can use to buy whatever they need. Fantastic, there we go. And that should be great. The Crotonians are actually pretty happy. They're fairly happy. Not quite enough to get somebody to come in, but hopefully they will start to when they get a second. How's our religion going? So we've got a fair split. There's a couple of people who are Imnius, which is not fantastic, but you know, we'll do with that when we can. We're just a little bit low on workforce at the moment, but as soon as we start to get more of these guys coming in, that should be fine, especially when we get our harvest here and increase our overall stock of food. That'll be great for us. Part of me is wondering if we maybe make another grain farm, but we are already going to get this cotton farm up, which is fantastic. How are we doing for clothes? Still 0, but we're working away. We're going to use that cotton as much as we can, spend our hard-earned money, and use that to help us out. Looks like our research might be dropping slightly, and I think that's because our workforce is going down, so we only have 4 scientists here now. And that's just because of the work prioritization that's happening. People are prioritizing working on the fields, as they probably should. So it could be an idea just to get some Garthemi in. They are terrible when it comes to actually working, though, is the only thing. I think we maybe just try and stick with our humans where we can. For our access, you know what? We got the wood. Let's just give them a bunch more wood. full wood axes, make them happy, make them loyal. We can then use that to get more of them in, so we can get more workers, so we can get more researchers. I think that's a good idea. When it comes to Crotonians, again, I think we just say, hey, you know what, you have wood, we have wood, that's fine. The Dundorians also like wood, and there's not that many of them, so yeah, we're just going to say to everybody, hey, if you want wood for your houses, have some wood for your houses, you can use that to make up some furniture. We have enough in stockpile, we're surrounded by forests, we can just hunt that, chop that down, sorry, whenever we get a second. Speaking of hunting, as was clearly on my mind there, we're doing alright, we're slowly pulling in, we're getting a little few hides coming in as well. We just don't have quite enough fabric at the moment. 64 people, nothing to sniff at. We could potentially build a nursery as well. We've got the fruit now to use. The problem is you don't want to build it too big. You want to always get them in a sweet spot, because if they're too big, then they're going to eat up all your stuff, and children are going to die because you don't have enough stuff, you don't have enough money to import it. And if you build it too small, you don't really get that much of a return of investment. But yeah, we should probably build one. We've still got a bunch of fruit. We're still going to keep getting fruit. So yeah, we'll just build like a nice little cozy crib nursery here. We will need some more fabric for this, but that's fine. I think 10 kids is alright. And then what can we do for efficiency? Nice 2x2. Like so. Yep, there we go. Good stuff. Slightly inefficient in terms of the amount of stuff that we're putting into it. But that should be fine. We will use up some of our fabric that we're creating that we could be giving to our people. We'll be using a bunch of furniture, but I think this is probably good for the long-term survival of our city. Getting some of our own born and bred here, not just relying on immigrants, is always a good thing. Yep, we deactivate that workstation. Fantastic. We've got our grain farm going. Have we reactivated our bakery? No, we have not, so we should definitely do that. It's only 2 people. And that should turn some of our grain back into bread. Make our people a bit happier as well, because they do always love a little bit of bread. Yep, there we go. Perfect. Work away, boys. Work away. We've got a bunch of vegetables. Temperatures plunged to record lows. Oh, okay. Well, we've got enough hearths. Hopefully their load isn't too high. But it shouldn't be. We've got some hearths kind of scattered around the city for people to use. Central one over here, the one down by the farms. People should be quite happy. Same with our wells, that hopefully everybody is nice and clean. Other than that, we're just importing things in. We've got our weavers working away. We're just producing a little bit of fabric. Using a little bit of clothes as well. Things are going well. Population's going up, so we're getting more of our guys researching, which is good. How much do we need to upgrade that? Well, we need to research that as well. We need iron for that too. Which we can always import, but it's fairly expensive, so we'll need to have a little think about that. There's a lot less worker required if you import your raw goods, but then you need something to sell in order to get them. And that's always the problem with these kind of economies. I think we're doing pretty well so far. You know, we've got people moving in. Nearly 75 people. Can you believe it? How many years has it been? It's been 5 years. We've grown from a population of 10 to a population of nearly 75. We're getting our nursery done. We're just clearing out the construction here. Have more people working in here. They can use our fruit to make sure that we have more babies. Like so, yep, hammer that baby into existence, although on second thought maybe I shouldn't say that. YouTube might not enjoy that. We'll have to see. How are we doing in terms of housing? Yep, everybody's housed. Fantastic. There's a bunch of housing available. Not everybody has furniture, but everybody is getting quite a bit happier just from the fact they have access thanks to their housing here. Everybody's got housing. Most people have got furniture of some degree from the wood that we're giving them. We could give them a little bit of our actual furniture, but given that we're using that to make money, I'm not sure that's exactly the best idea. How are we doing over here in the bakery? Things are going pretty well. We need refined berries in order to upgrade it. I think we're alright for now. We just want to produce as much bread as we can, keep people happy, give us a nice good stock and good variety of our various goods. And that'll be all good for us. Yeah, there's nothing to fetch in the vicinity. People are just working away. 74 people now. Should be up to 75 in a second. We don't have any of our wet nurses here just because we're relying on more people coming in, but we do have our scientists. Fantastic. The last thing we want to do is for our knowledge to drop too low and for us to not get the benefits of our research, or we'll have to build another laboratory as well in order to keep that going. We'll probably expand this laboratory out just so it's a sort of larger bit here. I think that could look quite nice. Crush these bolter crawlers underfoot. And speaking of those bolter crawlers, we might as well just hunt them. We don't have very much meat at the moment, so if we just hunt them, and we tell some people just to hunt maybe these things here if they've got free time, just to improve our meat stocks, make it so that we have more food in storage, makes people more likely to move in when they get a second. And other than that, people are just working away. We've got plenty of wood. We've handed out loads of wood to all our citizens, and they seem to enjoy that. Well, maybe... Ah, here we go. Prontix. So this has unlocked us the training ground, the stockade, the slaver, and given us a little bit more immigration. Fantastic. We'll need to maybe think about starting out some kind of military or militia, more likely soon, but we'll need to get the research or import weapons for that. And that's probably something to think about in the next episode, so we'll probably just pause it here. I'm going to build up some extra houses here for people to potentially move into soon. But I think we'll call this episode here. So thank you very much for watching. If you're enjoying our playthrough of Songs of Syx so far, let me know down in the comments. And if you'd like to become one of our nobles when we get them, again, leave a little thing down in the comments and we'll try and get you in the game, at least until your unfortunate demise. I just want to say thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy what we do, consider becoming a member, one of the Burger Band, to support what we do on the channel. And until next time, take care.